Okay, so let's start with your loadout. You run Soulforge 4, and I just like that at 5. Same with Furia, heal, cooldown, just max it out. I know it's only half a second, and to you that might not seem like much, but like there are definitely times in your game where you're staring at your teammates waiting to heal them, and that extra half a second start that you get on your channel, like trust me, it'll make a difference. Just max that out. And then you run Fade to Black 4, which is like a really high level on that, which I've never used it ever actually, and especially not at 4, but it does seem pretty good. It seems like if you channel 3 times, you just get it back immediately, which is pretty nice. You could actually just abuse it more. I'll talk about how you could possibly abuse it more later. And then Veil 3, very solid. I like that. Blood Pack 3 is fine. I used to run Blood Pack 3, and then I realized I didn't really need to run it at 3, so I dropped it down to 2. I'll also tell you why. Basically, once we get to talking about what cards you bought and what other cards you didn't have in your loadout, it'll start making sense. And then Wickedness 1, which is I had to look this one up because I'd never used this card. The Rend Soul cooldown reduces it by like 0.6 seconds or something. It's okay as a filler. It's okay. Like, it's just a filler. It's whatever. Anyways, so glaringly, what I noticed you don't have in here is, I think it's called Dark Whisper, the one that gives you movement speed when you shadow travel. And you have so much shadow travel. So that card is really, really, really good if you run it at 2 or 3. I used to run it at 2, then I bumped up to 3. It doesn't really matter which one. The reason being, you really, really, as seris, your biggest asset is that you don't die. Like, you can shadow travel, you're completely immune to everything, and you're invisible. So unless someone's like tailing you with Illuminate 3, no one's gonna know where you end up. So you should use that to your advantage. Also, so during in-game, I noticed that you bought Morale 3, which is solid. It's fine. It's not a big deal if you buy Morale. That's like totally fine that you buy that, and a lot of seris players buy Morale. But I noticed that the way that you position yourself, you don't, like, you're just on point a lot, like, and you kind of weave on and around point, in which case, like, you're taking a boatload of damage. And I get, like, Fade to Black 4 will save your ass a lot, but hear me out here. So if you just invest in Nimble instead, you will get so much more out of seris. Like, you'll die so much less. Like, it'll give you the ability to, like, you'll still take damage if you just keep weaving around point, but it'll make it much harder to confirm a kill on you. And it's like you're moving so fast that no one's gonna know where you really are. And I noticed as the game went on, like, Shaw kept flanking you. Like, he shoots a projectile. Like, if you have Nimble, it's really hard to hit a Nimble seris with Shaw, like, who's not like super, super, super good. So my point is, try investing in Nimble. Also, please add Dark Whisper and get some movement speed on your shadow travel so that you can, like, retreat to a safer place. Because I noticed, like, when you hit your F, because you have no speed on it, you kind of just dilly-dally around the area where you were before. Okay, I'm going to actually start this because it's 20 minutes of, like, pure gameplay anyways. So the first point fight, I didn't really notice anything crazy. The biggest thing I noticed here was, like, it didn't really burn you, but it's something to be aware of. So a couple times, a bit later maybe. Okay, well here, if you had that extra half second, you could do, like, that extra bit of healing for your tanks that would help. But yeah, you actually put up really good KDA stats for seris. Like, you killed a lot of people. Sometimes you actually left-clicked when you probably should have been right-clicking. That's something to be aware of. Like, usually on your screen, if I see, like, anyone with, even if they're not in imminent danger, you just want to top them off if you can. But yeah, sometimes, like, especially near the end, like, you start seeing people with like 3/4 of their health. And it's like, yeah, they're not gonna die right away, but you still want to top them off if possible. But maybe you start feeling desperate. I don't know. Like here, I mean, it's all fine. Okay, so here, and you do this a couple times in game, like, everyone's on point. Like, your whole entire team is on point. I guess you guys are close to capping, but like, if both your tanks are on point, or if even like one tank is on point, like, you don't have to sit on point. And by you don't have to, I mean, please don't sit on point. Like, you're the healer. If like someone like accidentally like bursts you down, that's really bad. So I mean, okay, so there, as soon as you hear the enlightenment and you took some shots from Leon, like, I know on your screen you didn't really know which direction she was coming from, just hit your F. I'm actually not entirely sure if Veil 3 is enough. Like, if you're like a little bit slow hitting it, if that'll get you out, but at least try. And like, hit your F and like immediately start ducking behind a wall. Although, again, I don't know. Leon's ult goes around corners. So I'm not sure would have helped, but if you're like, if Leon ults anywhere near you and you're not sure if she's going for you, you should just hit F. Okay, so that ult, I understand the idea behind it. You kind of didn't know for sure how many people you were gonna hit. Like, you saw people vaguely around the corner there. So I don't know, I can't fault you for that because it was a good idea. That was a great hook by Makoa. So you do a good job of, you do understand that you don't need to be in line of sight to channel the heal. Like, you do a good job of like just peeking to get the initial channel, so that's good. Oh, and then backing out. I didn't finish my sentence. Okay, here, this is unfortunate. Because you got him so low, and then you get solo ulted, and you can't quite finish him off. It feels bad. And that's fine for you to like heal full health teammate just to get that self heal. Totally fine. I do it all the time. If you could have, I probably would have tried to heal your tanks instead, because you had, at least momentarily, you had like line of sight on them. I'm gonna skip forward.
3.
Okay, so that ult I do not like at all, because in our, like, okay, I was gonna say she walled it off, but that's not even that accurate. Like, she had her wall up, so you threw your ult behind her wall, which meant no one on your team could follow up on it at all. So that shadow travel and rechannel, totally fine, great. Good kill. Anyways, that ult, you have to try to make sure that even if you don't follow up on your ult, like, your team is able to, and you block them off, or the wall was there, so you made it so that it was a doomed ult. Okay, so here again, do not sit on the point. Just go to the left or the right. I prefer to play under the quarries, which is like right here where you are. I don't know what Makoa is doing. I think he's like a bot or something. Okay, so shot ult, like right there. Get out, get out, get out. I would have just gone to the right side. Like, he's still there, you know he's there. Somehow he's not killing you. I don't understand. Okay, finally he like decides to kill you. That's okay. But you basically hang out where he is still. Like, you don't move. Again, if you play more of a nimble playstyle, like if you can change to that kind of playstyle, like change your deck, get nimble, you'll maybe like start moving around the map more and understand how to become more elusive, and be less predictable. Because that Shaw just like, I think from that moment on he just kind of realized that you just kind of stay in the same place all game. That's fine, it happens, whatever. Okay, so you're taking poke from Leon. Back off, fine. I would have gone down. You were still getting so much poke sitting high ground. I get that you can poke back, but I don't know. It doesn't seem worth it. Okay, that's fine. That's fine, good shadow travel.
Enemy killing spree.
Koa didn't back out fast enough, so nothing you can do. Okay, so you see the Shaw on the right, and you go towards him. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. Like, I know that like having watched this already, like and I saw your post game stats. You really like the left click people, and yeah, Seris can actually do some damage and kill people, but it's really hard to solo a Shaolin, and he was full health. And you just walked into him when he was planted. That's just risky. Like, it's not your job to do that. Yeah, that's a good call to let the Willow die, because there's nothing you could have done. Yeah, you guys are just really staggered. You need to back out though. Again, like, you're sitting on high ground right next to everyone. Okay, so good. Good, I like where you backed out too. You kind of get stuck in like a bad place, but it's fine. That was a good ball by another.
15 seconds remaining. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Okay, so here you decide to left click the shot instead of like hiding behind a wall and topping off your team. Again, you have to think about topping people off. This is fine. You can left click more because it's just Nando there. Okay, here though, there was a pause and then you left click more. You should have topped off Makoa for sure. And then he dies because of that. So here, I probably would have thrown an ult just to try to... I think Ash and I'm sure Shaw were both low. I'm not sure if you could have gotten an ult off. Because you have like morale 2 or 3 at this point. Like, it's fine for you to... I think it's fine for you to ult, to use like one ult to try to save that. But you guys are fine, so whatever. Like, it's not like an obvious ult. It's just something you possibly could have done. Oh, your Makoa went pluck. Okay, no wonder he's so squishy. Lots of emoting. Okay. Even when you leave spawn, I would try to be behind your tank, because you kind of were by yourself. That's not a bad ult to try to just like focus attention away from your tanks. If that's what you were trying to do. Oh, by the way, here in that, I didn't pause it fast enough. That's fine. You're gonna go back. Anyways, I'll show you later. So here, actually, around this area, like there's actually a window. If you jump, you can actually just like line of sight people and heal them. I'm not sure if you could have line of sighted people here because your teammates are here, but to point, you definitely can. Like you can sit there and play seris from there if you need to. And yeah, Shaw just like really fucks you as like more and more as the game goes on. Okay, so top off. Okay, fine. Again, I really miss Soul Forge 5. Just get Soul Forge 5. It's 1 point. Okay, again, you knew the whole time that Zhao was on the left, and you just ignore him, but you peek him a lot and just hope he doesn't shoot you. I would just like back away. Okay, that's really, I guess you were just hoping he would miss, and he did, but holy shit, it's scary. Okay, Shaw is such a problem at this point. Okay, you peek him so hard. Oh my gosh. Like you know that he's in your face half the game. You have no fear. Anyways, he's such a big problem that it's like you have ult like 3 times around at this point if you like actually use it. Like it's fine if you solo ult him. Like you know where he is. Okay, you didn't need. Okay, maybe. I can see why you stayed in there so long, but you were probably pretty safe. So here, like this, when you hit F and then you hit F like 10 seconds later, I was like, oh, yeah, Fade to Black 4 is kind of nice, but... I think, again, like if you had Fade to Black 4 and you ran Veil, not Veil, what's it called? Dark Whisper 3 and Nimble 3, like you'd just be unkillable. Like no one would know where you were at any point in time. See, that was a really good ult, and you had follow-up on it. I'd say that was definitely your first good ult of the game. Like, you pulled in multiple people, you followed up on it. I think your teammates probably shot a couple. Again, stop peeking the shot! I don't know how you killed him. Like, you ignore him, and he ignores you, and it's just weird. But that shouldn't happen. Okay, so here you're kind of like waiting for stuff to happen and waiting around for stuff. And you're like positioning in a way to shoot people. I don't like that. So as seris, you should have probably positioned back onto your high ground. By your high ground, I mean like next to your spawn doors. You don't want to be caught out anywhere. Like you're already poked out to half. Okay, that was lucky, I would say, because I think if Leon had aimed that ult at you, she would have just killed you. And you didn't hit F. That was fine. I think you meant to pull the Ashe, but you pulled, who was it? Like their Nando instead, and you killed them, so whatever. It was a nice idea. You take so much poke from Shaw and Leon. Like you just stand in their faces a lot and hope that they don't kill you before you hit F. Just pretty ballsy.
4, 3.
Okay, it's good that you picked up Wrecker actually because your team didn't. But I don't. Okay, maybe I didn't notice the first time I watched, but I don't see you shooting that shield that much. Okay, you see shot. Get out. Get out. Okay, so you go low ground to the right. I would have gone through that hallway. You also see the ash. Oh, I guess you're not looking, but maybe you went there to try to heal Sky. But like, if you go through the hallway, it's just safer. And then at this point, your team is really staggered. Oh god, yeah. That is a serious stagger by Willow. Okay, I wouldn't. Okay. Don't try to beat that. You guys are actually doing an okay job, like, not staggering, which is good. Okay, you're way too in everyone's faces again. Like, you just take damage and hope to not die. Void Abides obviously doesn't have the range that Mortal Reach has, but it has decent range. Like, on Serpent, you can actually heal from platform to platform, I think. Okay, get away. Okay, here you could actually just hit F and contest. But then your Nara's back, so stop contesting. Stop contesting! Nimble, again, will help with that. Like, if you went towards point to try to get a contest, totally fine, but back out way, way earlier.
That was a close one.
Okay, so yeah, in general, please get Soulforge 5. Please get Dark Whisper 2 or 3. And if you get Dark Whisper 2 or 3, Soulforge 5, and you start playing around with Nimble build, especially this patch, you could go Morale and Nimble. You don't actually, I'm just pause it because it's over. You don't actually need Blood Pack 3. You could honestly be fine with 2. But again, that, like, you have to change the way you play. Like, you just kind of stand in everyone's faces and take damage and hope to not die, which is really, really scary to watch sometimes. Yeah, I would say you had one really good ult, and then you had one, you fucked up one, it's fine. You threw one really bad one because you threw it behind the wall. No people could follow up on that. You threw one to save your team or to try to save your team. That was fine. You threw one to try to draw Ashe out from her ult. That was a good idea. You ended up drawing Nando instead. Somehow it worked out, so I can't fault you for that. Again, you had Morale 3, so you definitely had enough ults to ult. Like, you could solo ult the Shaolin. Like, you should just try it. It feels really good, especially because he was focusing you for most of the game, and he started killing you most of the game. So yeah, Sha was kind of a problem, and you tried to 1v1 him, which was also a problem. Don't do that, please. Yeah, that's it. I think you did okay. You just play Seris differently from how I play Seris. Maybe in the new patch, because you really, really, really like to kill people and shoot people, you should play Soul Collector. So Soul Collector will, like, heal-wise, it'll be a little bit worse than Void Abides, because obviously it's not 50% extra healing to allies, it's 30%, but you can just, like, tank so much damage, and you can shoot people and do so much damage because you have extra health. If you want a Soul Collector build, you can look up, I have one, I'm sure Sam has one, or you can ask for one. It's a slightly different build because you actually need the health card higher so that you could get, or you need the health card because you don't have it in your current deck. But the health card will stack with the Void Abides talent. So yeah, okay, that's it, bye.